to episode 7 of Hornets Sports Buzz. Tonight we have guests from the cross-country team, Coach Derek Ellis. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks.
And his two captains, Maggie Riley and Val Benora. So we're going to be talking about all things cross-country in just a minute. As usual, I'm going to do my housekeeping items. It's Thursday, November 8th. We're in the height of postseason. Unfortunately, some teams have their seasons ended. Let's just talk about the teams that are still alive right now. Football, big game tomorrow night against King Philip. At home, Mansfield, the number 1 seed in D2 South. King Philip is the 2-time defending champion in D2 South. And they played early in the year. Mansfield won by 1, so it's going to be a big game. Come out to Alumni Field tomorrow at 7 p.m. The girls' soccer team is playing as we speak. Thursday night at 5 o'clock. I think they're down in Plymouth. They're playing Newton South, the number 1 seed. The girls, they're in the semifinals, so good luck. Hopefully, by the time you see this, they'll already have won. So, the boys' soccer team, unfortunately, their season came to an end Tuesday night against Brockton, who's the defending Division I state champion. The boys had a great season, only 3 losses total on the season, and they had a great year, led by captains Savoy, Nugent, and Brilcass. The field hockey team lost round 1, unfortunately 1-0 overtime thriller. They were the number 16 seed. They had a good match, and they had a great season. We had Coach Nyan on earlier. And last but not least, in cross-country, the divisionals of this Saturday, which we're going to talk about. They won the Hockey League meet, which we're going to talk all about. So that's it. Let's get right into it. Coach, welcome. I read a little bit about your background, but how long have you been coaching? We'll focus on cross-country.
Yeah.
I know you coach track, indoor and outdoor, but how long have you been coaching cross-country?
I believe this is my 18th year.
18th.
Yes.
So you started when you were 14 or 12?
Yeah. I just never age, but
Wow.
yeah, no.
Because I know my niece graduated in 2008. My wife reminded me, and you coached Colleen Davis.
Oh,
and
yes.
So you were there at least
Yeah, been there.
8 years. Wow, that's
Yeah,
impressive.
since 2001, I think I started.
Yeah.
So.
And how did you get into cross country and track and field? Were you a runner in high school or college, or?
Yeah, I ran for North Attleboro High School. Sorry. And,
Oh, we're not allowed to say that.
yeah. And I ran 1 year at Merrimack College before I transferred out of there.
Great. And we know there's a lot of Mansfield runners running at Merrimack now.
Yes.
Morgan DeBolt, Lindsay Bjorkman, who else?
Madison Hoy.
Yeah, Madison Hoy.
Madison Hoy.
Yeah, and then
She was a hurdler, right? And
Yeah.
yeah,
played golf as well.
we've
Oh, yeah.
sent a lot of girls up there.
Yeah,
They like our runners, I guess.
that's good. And have you always been the head coach at Mansfield High, or?
No, the first 5 years I was assistant coach, and then Coach DiBiase moved to Seekonk, and then I took over the program from her. So
That's great. And then we're going to have Coach Collins on, who, as I think it's official now that she's going to be retiring.
yes,
But I'm going to try not to cry on the show next week. I know she won't cry, but I might cry. But at one point, tell me if I'm wrong, that you coached the sprinters and the hurdlers, and she did the boys and girls distance, like in the indoor and the outdoor. Is that true, or did I make that up?
I think you made that up.
I make up a lot of stuff.
There was, I mostly coached girls for when my kids were young. I took a little span away. I stepped away from indoor for a little bit. I think during that span, she did coach the girls distance for 4 or 5 years before I came back.
Okay, that's great. And then let's get right into the season. Again, you can check all my facts because I'm usually have half of them wrong. But undefeated in the Hawk dual meet, correct? 5-0.
Yep.
And overall 5-1. And I was surprised by that. You guys had a non-league meet against Bishop Fien, and as part of a tri-meet. Tell me about that, Maggie. Is that true? You lost to them?
Yeah, they joined our meet with Oliver Ames, and it was scored against them and them against Oliver Ames, and we lost to them. But
Yeah. And then I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you explain to our audience? So, and I know how the scoring works, but in cross country, the lowest score, like golf, wins. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you know how the scoring works?
Yeah.
So explain it to our viewing audience.
Usually how it is, it's what place you get. So the top 7 girls, it's top 7, right? Or is it top 5?
Yeah.
top 5 numbers are
Okay,
counted.
top 5 girls on your team, their scores will be counted. So if the number 1 girl gets second in the entire race, then they get 2 points. If the number 3 girl gets 6 in the race, then that adds 6 points to your score. And then the 6 and 7 can displace the other team, along with all the other girls.
So their points don't count, but if we were to get 1 through 7 and the next team got 8, then they would get 8, but we wouldn't add the 6 and 7 to our score.
That's tricky. There's going to be quiz
Which
at home.
that would be pretty nice if that happened.
And tell me if I'm wrong. Most of the time, that's more important. And coach, you could chime in like the bigger meets, like the Hawk meet or the state meets, because in a dual meet, so just obviously, if you know, the lowest score is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You add it together, it's 15. I think the highest score for an opponent is 50. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
think
If you
it's
if you
50-50,
demolish
yeah.
a team, you're going to win 15 to
Yes.
50. But in the bigger meets, we'll talk about next Saturday. If your fifth runner comes in 20th and your sixth and seventh girls are right behind them, you could push a team you're competing with like higher up. Correct? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So that's interesting. So what was your closest Kelly Rex meet? I know you guys won the dual meet. Do you guys remember?
It's Franklin, right?
I thought it was King Philip.
I feel like majority of them are pretty close.
Yeah, they were all
we had
pretty
two
close.
really
Pretty
close
solid this year.
ones.
I wrote it down. Let's see if I have it.
We broke Franklin's winning streak.
I thought it was Franklin was like by 2 or something, or was that KP?
KP surprised us.
KP surprised you? It was one of those two. So I read Franklin's won the last 3 dual meet titles. Is that right, Coach?
Yes.
And then I think 6 out of the last 8 in the Kelly Rex. Again, HockamockSports.com. That's I have to plug them every time. But I mean, so what was? Let's talk about the league meet's a little bit different. The dual meet, it's like everybody in your squad
Yeah.
runs and everybody there. But can you explain, how the league meet works?
Yeah, the league meet, you're allowed to run 10 runners, but only 7 count towards scoring. They cross out 8, 9, 10. And in the big meets, it's 3, 4, 5 runners that mean everything. Because Maggie, if she has an off day in a race, she might lose us 3 or 4 points. But if your number 5 runner has an off day, they're going to lose you like 30, 40 points. So
Yeah.
in the big meets, your 3, 4, 5 is so important.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that can get you a lot more points or
Yeah.
give points away. So.
So Val, I saw you shooting a look at Maggie. Does that mean there's a lot of pressure on Maggie? There's no pressure on her.
I mean, in the dual meets, I feel
Yeah.
like she does feel like kind of like a lot of pressure, but like it really does help that in the Hawk meets we have really good like overall like as you said like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like our top like are just overall really good.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Foxborough, they had runners number 1 and 2. Like their top 2 runners won the race, but like our number 5 is still really good, and their number 5 is not as good, and that's why we won.
Yeah, so again, we like to give a lot of PR. So your top 5, and we're going to talk about everybody. We're going to talk about Val. Val has been a little bit injured this year, which we're going to get into, right? So we'll talk about that. But Tessa Lancaster, in just the Hawk League Championships, correct me if I'm wrong, Tessa Lancaster, sophomore, came in 3rd. Maggie Riley came in 5th.
Yay.
Sorry. Jessica Ailsaw came in 16th. Brindley Milia came in 20th, and Emma Lamson 36th. So that's impressive. And to me, that adds up to 80, but on the scoring it said 79, so I'm probably wrong. And you guys, King Philip, again, I should use my glasses. King Philip came in 2nd with 97 and Franklin 102. So you guys won handily, 18 points. And just to talk about the scoring one more time is Emma was the 5th runner, 36. And I looked quickly, and I think King Philip's 5th runner was in before her. So, Coach, it's hard in a race because it's probably 150 athletes running the Hawk Beat.
Yes.
Could you, I know you're probably good at math,
Yes.
but could you tell that you were winning? Or I know you had a couple runners up front, but.
This year at the league meet, you really couldn't because
Yeah.
I feel like every team was battled their 3, 4, 5 runners. No one had like a solid team that was going to be like, 4 in the top 8.
Yeah.
So you had no idea where the points were because
Yeah.
they were all mixed in the from 20th to 30 something. So you couldn't tell.
That's great. And like Foxborough, those 2 girls, they had a good amount of lead. Or were you
Yeah.
and Tessa running together? Or tell me about the league meet.
I went out a little fast,
Yeah.
and then I kind of dropped back after that. And like I don't know, the top 5 was pretty spread out. Like the Foxborough girls were a good bit away from Tessa, and Tessa was a bit ahead of the KP girl, and I was like quite a bit behind her. So it was pretty spread out. And I feel like after the first mile, everyone kind of just stayed where they were.
Yeah. And then this question is for both of you, like just in general, like racing or, what do you run indoors, Val?
I run like the 1,000 mile,
1,000 mile, and then outdoors, the mile and
800.
800. Okay. But just in general, for new runners at home, distance runners, and again, part of this, we hopefully that a lot of the girls out there will end up running for Coach Ellis. When you guys are gone, you guys will just be in the past. But, I mean, how do you learn to pace yourself? Like, did you start running freshman year?
Oh
or-
yeah, that takes time. That's always like something like when freshman girls come in, like instantly like, oh my gosh, like they cannot pace, do not let them in front of the group.
Even if they're good athletes, right? Even
yeah,
if they're in
like
good shape,
that's just something like through experience.
they just run hard the first half mile and then boom.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you learn, and again, we could talk about your workouts a little bit more, but how do you learn to, at the races you run 6-minute miles race pace or something like that?
At my fastest.
What's your
yes.
fastest 5K?
1847.
Okay, so it's
Or
3.1 miles, so
Yeah.
whoever's better at math, it's
1849.
probably just over 6 minutes. So, but in training, tell me, if you run a 6-minute mile, what are you going to run for training? You're not going to go out and run 5 miles in 6-minute pace. How do you learn to run a 7-minute pace or 7:30? Is that just experience?
I
or-
mean, like in the workouts, we run, like for a tempo, we might run like a 6:30 pace, which is like slower, but like not that much slower. And then like on normal runs, like 50-minute runs, you run a lot slower. So I feel like it's just like in the race, like the adrenaline just makes you go a lot faster than you would ever like think of going like on the track with no one around
Oh,
you,
yeah.
just doing a workout.
Especially you're surrounded by like a ton of other girls that you want to beat so bad. Like
Yeah.
when you're just with training with your team, like you know this girl, you know she's gonna be right next to you. Like when you're in a race, like you really want to beat these girls. Like it's just like more pressure, and that pressure, like the adrenaline, like helps you like go so much faster. You don't even realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can go so much faster than you think you can.
Yeah, even if you, and tell me if I'm wrong, if you want to go out slow, because it feels good, more comfortable to go out slower, but the gun goes off, and over Franklin, Rentham, it feels like a sprint the 200,
Yeah.
first 200, 300 yards, right? So is your tactics, I know you were injured, but in past seasons, would you prefer going out hard and kind of maintaining, or do you kind of like to modify your pace?
I personally have seemed to always kind of race different. Like, I don't recommend it. Else not to, but, like, I just seem to work best, like even in my miles, like cross country, when I don't like go out extremely fast in the beginning, and like passing girls, being able to pass them throughout the race, like helps my confidence and helps me keep going.
That's
But
good.
I've seen Maggie, and she really gets out there, and she seems to work with her.
Yeah, I guess I go out fast and just try to keep that up. I mean, sometimes I drop like in the middle of races, so like maybe that's not the best idea, but just gotta keep it up, I guess.
Yeah. Everybody, and I think, Coach, you tell me, like, and we could talk about your roster. There's 25 girls. That's what I saw on the
Yes.
website. And I think it's 8 seniors, 7 juniors, 6 and 4, something like that.
Yeah.
So do you send them out in groups of like? I mean, I'm thinking Maggie and Tess run together a lot. Or do you have a bigger group than that in practice, or do you send them out in groups of like 5 and
Yeah, we break them down by
Yeah.
their 5K times.
Okay.
So like she runs with Tessa, then our 3, 4, 5 run together, then our 5, 6, 7 run together. So it's based by what their 5K times are, because their workouts are based off their current 5K. So
Yeah.
when they do workouts, they have
Yeah.
to be in that group because that's the pace.
That's great. So did you say carbon 5K? Or did I just hear that?
No.
Okay, all right. So I got no vision,
Current,
no
I
hair.
said current 5K.
Current 5K, okay. So Val, let's see, this is a test to see if you pass coach's test. So if you run what's your 5K pace like last year, 6:30 or?
Oh gosh, no. What was I? I was like 7.
Yeah, probably around
like
7.
6:57.
So
Yeah.
what like in the middle of the season, just say you're heading towards Hawks, like with 2 weeks left, what would be a hard workout? Again, I know you were mostly injured this year. What would be a hard workout during cross-country season? Like, it would be on the track?
Yeah, interval workouts
Yeah.
What would you
yeah.
do, run 800s, interval 800s?
It's definitely the interval workouts.
Yeah.
It's not so much 800s in cross
Yeah.
country, right? It's more
Thousands.
thousands.
Thousands? Okay.
Yeah, that's when we hear
800s are a waste of time?
Yeah.
When we hear 1200s and thousands, we're like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then we have to do them on the field, like around
Yeah.
where JV soccer practices and like near the tennis courts.
Oh, you do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure Coach Ellis has measured out 1,000 yards correctly?
We don't know.
I got my wheel.
We're not that sure about that.
Yeah.
Coach Collins and I are out
Coach
there with our
Collins
wheels.
measures
You
it.
do like 4 intervals, 5, or how many? Or,
Like 5. We've done
Yeah,
like
we've
5.
done
Yeah.
5,000.
Yeah.
Well, thousands,
Yeah.
most is 5 for them.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
5K broken up.
Fast.
Yeah.
They feel
Yeah.
horrible.
That's good. What about hill work? I know a lot of schools really push the hills. Actually, and we could talk about that. And I like to knock on wood. If things go well Saturday, which we'll talk about, the All-States are at Northfield Mountain. Is
It
that
actually
correct?
got moved
Oh,
now, so
okay.
now it's going to be in Westfield, so it's a flatter course. so-
Okay. Okay.
Hey.
But in general, do you guys do a lot of hill work during the season, or it's just not? Because Mansfield's pretty flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last few years, we really haven't, since we moved away from Franklin Park, where there was a hill in the course,
Yeah.
we don't really do too many hills.
Yeah.
We used to do them a place in Easton, where it had a nice like 600-meter hill.
Yeah.
But the last few years, we haven't really done it. We just focus
Yeah.
more on the interval and the repetition pace on the field.
Yeah,
So.
I feel like we also have to be careful of injuries.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I know Coach, and again, I don't want to speak
Yeah.
for Coach Collins because she knows
Yeah.
more than. Oh, not more than you.
No, she
not
doesn't
more
know.
than you.
I've learned a lot from
But
her.
I mean, it's
so.
like some teams go crazy on the hills, and I
Yes.
think like what Val said, there's a lot of injuries. So let's talk about injuries. Like those of us that are not that familiar with running, which I don't run. I just want to say that you don't realize how many runners get. Again, I know you guys do indoors and outdoors, but there's always somebody in the whirlpool or the hot tub, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's always, and I know we could talk about your past runners,
Yeah.
some great runners. Lauren
Yeah,
Duggan,
right.
she, and Julie Romano and
Yes.
Morgan DeBolt. I don't know, but how do you avoid injuries like Maggie or you know what I mean? Is this the first time in your career you've been injured?
Oh no, I get injured like every year.
I'm sorry, Val.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like that's why we took it easy for the beginning of the season, because by like after 3 seasons of running, you're like done. Even after 1 season of cross country, like
Yeah,
you're
your
just
legs
so-
start to get sore.
Yeah.
So do you know how to, again, Coach, that's your job.
Yes.
I mean, their job is to run,
Yeah.
but it's like how to kind of know when you got to push them and how to ease back, even for the runners that are healthy.
Yes.
I mean, do you have a magic wand or how do
No,
you?
no, I mean, this year we've been pretty injury-free,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of it's we have Marathon Sports Physical Therapy that comes
Yeah.
over with Mike, and he does a great lifting program with these girls. So these are probably some of the strongest cross-country runners we ever had. And we've been pretty injured-free, and I think it's a lot from his training.
Keep knocking on
Yes,
wood,
yeah, his weight training. So, but we do have kids that have injuries, and we usually cut their miles back, cut their workouts back, but try to keep them in shape. So when championship season comes, they can come back. So it's kind of like you're pushing. A physical therapist once told me there's a fine line. You're trying to get as close to it as you can.
Yeah.
And it is tricky, and sometimes you go too far. And
Yeah.
but
And your other runners, and again, I obviously know Maggie and Tess and Jessica Ailstock. Tell me about Jessica Ailstock, Brindley Milia, and Emma Lamson. Again, the 2 of them are juniors. Is Emma Lamson, what year is she?
Sophomore.
So you got, you'll be gone. You'll be gone. Coach, next year's looking good too, right?
we got to find a Maggie
young
replacement.
runners.
So, no. But no, they look good. They're a strong group. They all PR'd huge, and some of them are first.
Have they
year
been
cross
running
country.
for a number of years? I don't know that.
Track
Kinda.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
try.
They have. Okay.
Yeah.
This is
That's good.
Brindley's first season of cross country.
and Tessa's and
Oh yeah, and Tessa's.
Miller's.
And I know again. I
And
just-
Miller's, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, Meg McVicker, ran the Hawk meet, and Julia Miller.
Yeah.
So it's good. So it's looking good for next year. We'll worry about this year.
Yes,
But,
1 year at a time.
yeah. So just going back, and again, you can see how my mind scatters. But
Mm.
just preseason training. You guys finished indoor track. How much time do you take off between? Outdoor track, and when you start your summer training? Even if coach says start June 20th, when do you girls really start?
I thought we started like right away, didn't we?
Do you?
Yeah, well, like we started after school ended, so like probably like
Yeah.
3 weeks
And
after.
we
spring
were out
track.
there like every day training. pretty
Yeah.
much.
Does coach send you a training schedule, or you're advanced enough?
He
we
sends
have,
us a
yeah, we have
schedule.
a training schedule, but if there were like girls that like came back from vacation and stuff, we wouldn't throw them like with like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, so as captains, you guys have captains practices, right?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
summer?
In the summer, we had them like every day.
Every day, really.
Well,
Wow.
6 days a week.
6 days a week. Jeez. Belichick says no days off. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
So you don't really need coach then in the summer, Does he ever like sneak up to the the captain's practice? No, I'll get him in
No.
trouble.
No, but I mean, the
like-
summer really comes down to all that
Yeah.
because your season's all about summer training, and they did an
Yeah.
awesome job. So.
Yeah, and even the incoming freshmen who probably have zero to no experience, zero or little experience running, do they come to the captain's practice like that? Last year's 8th graders?
Oh, we make sure to text them.
Yeah.
we
we
definitely get
text
them.
people. We make them come.
we make it like a thing, like you have, even though they know they don't have
Yeah.
to go, we make
Yeah.
a big deal,
Yeah,
like
it's not
to go.
optional.
Yeah, we like
That's
kind of
good.
say like
We'll drive you guys.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, give them no
That's
excuses.
good. Yeah. And you don't take them to ice cream afterwards, or?
we went to ice
We
cream
did
afterwards.
actually, yeah. We did
boys
bribe
don't
them.
do
that.
We bribed them with like the beach and stuff.
Yeah, we
and,
went to the
like,
beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was I going to say? The old adage was you'd run. I believe it or not, I ran in high school. It was like you run 3 miles, then 5, then 7, and take a day off, and then run 6 or whatever. But now it's all about minutes. Am I
Yes.
right? Because when you run for 30 minutes, might be 4 miles, it might be 1 mile for me. So is that the new training, or not the new, but has that been the way it's been for a while?
Yeah, we do minutes because on your
easier.
bad days when you're not feeling well, you do a little less. But then on your good days, you're catching up on the miles. And then they'll build for 3 weeks. So each week we had 5 minutes. Then on the 4th week they drop down, so they get kind of a rest week with less miles.
Yeah.
And then minutes is the way to go because if you're feeling bad, you don't want to go out and run 6 miles. And
Yeah.
But at least with minutes, you're just doing your minutes and getting it done.
And do girls use a GPS watch, not for directions, but to track your mileage? Or
Oh yeah, I think like almost every girl on the team.
Do you have to show it to coach when you get back, or?
No.
No.
Don't give him ideas.
Our coach in high school would go out and he'd have the van and he'd beat every mile, and boy,
Yeah, don't-
we
don't
couldn't
tell
cut.
him.
We couldn't cut through
He
the
doesn't
woods.
need new
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah, that's good.
He does run with us sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
That's good.
yeah.
I did check GPS watches one year with one of my former captains, and
Oh, Gigi?
I remember
yeah,
that.
she stopped at Flint Farm, so kind of embarrassed her in front of her parents.
Yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
you stopped at Flint Farm for 15 minutes, huh?
We won't mention any names.
Oh, yeah, sure we did. Sorry.
Sorry.
So let's talk, if you don't mind, the divisionals this week. So, you guys, is that all right? Is that too nerve-wracking to talk about?
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll talk to coach. But so it's again, it's Saturday, November 10th is the meet, right?
Yeah.
I think you guys are running in the afternoon.
Yes.
Division 2. And tell us. So we'll keep this low key, so you won't get pressure. How many teams? Again, so 30 teams in Division 2. Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know how many teams
Yeah.
are in Division 2.
Yeah, and just the top 7 on each team, right?
Yeah, top 7.
Maggie, don't get nervous.
Fine.
So, and again, it's team. I know Maggie and Tessa and,
Yeah.
and the girls you mentioned, Brinley and Milia.
Yeah.
It's you want to do as best you can, because some teams, they have one outstanding runner that could win the whole meet, and they have no team. And I think it might be fun for you, Maggie, because you and Tessa are going to be up there, hopefully. But in the team, it's fun. You're running for your team, right? So you got who qualifies? How many teams qualify, Coach?
The 4 teams from your division qualify,
Okay.
but then they have wild cards. So then they'll take the 5th fastest team from Eastern Mass, have all divisions. They get to go.
Okay.
And then they have one more wild card where it's the 5th and 6th place teams, and whoever's the fastest have all division gets to go. And then 7 individuals that are not on a team in each division get to go. So
Yeah. So you have 2 different ways to qualify.
Yes.
But you guys are focused on the team, and
hopefully, I mean, we're in the toughest division in the state. The 3 top teams in the state are in our division.
yeah.
But
I think we're ranked 6th, right?
we
We were after Hornets.
yeah, I think we're down near 11th,
Yeah.
but from
That's
4
very
to
different.
4 to 12.
But those are a little subjective because
Yes.
right, you can't compare the Hawk versus the Bay State versus the
Yeah,
Mayflower. You know.
comparing home courses, which might not be a 5K,
Right.
so you never know.
Yeah.
But I think we have anywhere from 4th to 11th. Like all those teams are really close with each other, and yeah, it's really 3, 4, 5 girls
Yeah.
wherever they all.
I can
finish.
tell Maggie's getting nervous, but this is
Oh, she'll do all.
no.
I thought we were ranked 6th. I didn't know we were.
That's good. So do you know? And I haven't looked this up, but in the Hawk meet, I think this is the 3rd time you've won the Hawk dual meet, and the 2nd time you've won the Hawk League meet.
Yes.
But in divisionals, do you know your history? And
Yeah, we've
I didn't
never
check
won
that.
divisionals.
Okay.
We've had like 3 or 4 girls finish top 10 once, but it all comes down to that 5th runner where they finish. So
and have you gone? Yeah, I know the wild card, but have you gone on to the All States or? When
yeah,
is the
we've been
list?
all states
Yeah,
quite
yeah,
a few times.
Yeah,
so.
that's great. Just so you know, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. There's 4 divisions in Eastern Mass, correct? That are running.
Is it? I don't know if it's 4 or 5. They keep changing. It might be 5 now or 6.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
like Coach said, the top 4 and some wild cards,
Yeah.
and then they have a meet in Central Mass and Western Mass,
Yeah.
and I think less of those teams qualify because they're smaller.
Yeah, I think they only have 2 divisions
Yeah.
out there. And
So then we'll get Maggie and Val nervous. The best of the best, if all things go well, they compete a week later, and the meet's going to be.
it's in Westfield.
Yeah.
I should know the name of the course. I have it written down somewhere.
Yeah. One minute at a time.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievable. Like if you've ever seen it, like if you come in 12th at the divisional meet and you
Yeah.
come in. You could come in 40th at the All-State meet
Yeah.
and be a phenomenal runner. It's just the quality is amazing.
Oh,
and,
it is.
It's all fun though. It's good stuff. So
And she has one of the fastest girls in the country in her race. So.
Oh, Grace Connolly.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
would know the name.
yeah. It slipped off the top of my jacket. So that's great.
Yeah, it's at Stanley Park in Westfield.
Oh, it's Stanley
so,
Park in
yeah.
Westfield. Okay. So that's about all I have tonight. Any shout out to any of your other teammates or? Oh, sorry. What I forgot to ask this. What do you, I know we have indoor season, outdoor season, but what are your plans after high school? Do you want to run in college, or what do you, or academically? Have you guys thought about that yet?
Well, I'm probably gonna give myself like the first year off, and then kind of see if I want to go back into it. I feel like I always like just fall right back into it.
That's good. So you're addicted to running.
Yeah.
That's good. No, that's smart. I mean, I have older kids. It's like the first year in college, no matter what you're doing, even if you don't do a sport, is really challenging. What about athletically? Do you want to throw out any schools, or you just want to keep that under the radar? What schools are you looking at? Because we have an audience of 14, 18, 22 people. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, I'm looking at like colleges, like just like in the Boston area, like that's a total lie, not just in the Boston area, but like
We lie on the show.
like MCPHS, Albany, but not really any schools like for running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a long way to go. It's unfortunately, it's a long process. You guys have till May 1st to decide. What about you, Maggie?
I have been emailing like the coaches at most of the schools I'm applying to, but they're all like D3 schools, so like WPI. I've emailed the coach there and Bowdoin.
That's good. Yeah. So you'd like to run, even if it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And it's good that I think it's a credit to coach that kids want to go on. And I just mentioned a few, but off the top of your head, right now in college, do you know how many are running? How many?
Oh, right now? Oh.
From last year or like?
Like that are in college now, like freshmen through seniors. I mean, we mentioned Morgan DeBolt, Lindsay Bjorkman.
And we have Harrison at Sacred Heart and
Julie Harrison?
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned Madison Hoy.
Madison,
Madison
Hawaii. Oh, we have a ton.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing because I know a lot of kids, especially if you run all seasons, there's a burnout factor
Yeah,
in running.
Sammy Carey.
I mean, Julie Romano and Lauren Duggan are still running.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sammy Carey, I
Yeah.
think, is
Yeah.
still in college.
I think she's at Fairfield.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a good sign. Well, good luck, girls. Good luck Saturday. You're not nervous, but you're going to be healthy for indoors, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
a little out of shape in the beginning.
Yeah, that's good.
Should be in shape by then.
Val's out of shape is
We'll
most
see.
other people's in shape.
So do you know the website address? Because we're going to plug it of the show.
No.
HornetsSportsBuzz.com.
I knew that.
I knew that.
Tip of my tongue.
But thanks for coming on, Coach.
Oh, thank
Appreciate
you for
it.
having us.
Appreciate it, Maggie.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Val, Venora,
Thank you.
And that's it for episode 7, I believe, of Hornets Sports Buzz. Again, I'm not getting enough email for everybody. Send me HornetsSportsBuzz.com who you'd like to see on, who you wouldn't like to see on. And Coach, one other question. Will you come back and maybe outdoor track?
Sure.
All right, that's good. You have to say yes, but that's it. And good luck to the football, the girls soccer, and the cross country team Saturday. And good night, everybody.